OnScreen.
So, David, thanks for joining us. The film is Captive. You play Brian Nichols, and this is based on the best-selling book, The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. Now, this has been called a faith-based film, and I was just wondering, this is quite a popular market at the moment. What about your own faith did you bring to the project?
Well, yes, I'm a Christian myself, and so faith plays a big part in my own life. But, I do think that faith-based movies have a reputation, and sometimes justified, for being very proselytory, very preachy, very on the nose, and having a bit of an agenda. What we try to do with this film is to have a film that has faith as an integral, organic part of it, but not something that sort of is walloping you over the head. As these true events played out in 2005 in Atlanta, you have a murderer, a man who killed 4 people in a day, taking a meth addict hostage for 7 hours. That's not your average faith-based movie. But Pastor Rick Warren's book, The Purpose-Driven Life, which Ashley Smith read to Brian Nichols, that's what happened, and it helped these 2 people turn a much-needed corner.
Now, you have said that you didn't enjoy getting into the actual mindset of Brian Nichols, and that what he did was reprehensible. His actions were reprehensible. I'm just wondering, how did you mentally prepare to play that part?
Well, you have to put those opinions to the side, and you have to try and understand who he was, why he did what he did, and to not judge him for doing what he did, which is tricky, considering what he did do. But he is a 3-dimensional human being who did do what he did, but it's the humanity within him that made him stop when he was confronted with Ashley Smith, who was also a broken person, who somehow reawakened the humanity within him to make him not kill her and eventually let her go and give himself up. And so even though on face value he is a monster who had done these terrible things, through the course of the film his humanity is reawakened.
Well, it's a terrific pair of performances from yourself and Kate Mara. I'm just wondering, was it really important to you that Brian wasn't written in too sympathetic a way? Was the level of sympathy and non-justification, was that integral to how you saw the character?
Absolutely. It's one of the most difficult things about the film, because 4 people are dead, and their families' lives are forever changed because of what he did. Out of respect to them and out of acknowledgement of the devastation of what he did, you can't, the film cannot be a film that excuses what he did, or somehow an exoneration of that. But in order for Ashley Smith's life to take the turn that it took, she attributes part of her salvation, as it were, to him. And so that side of the story does also need to be acknowledged. It's the real tricky balance, which is why in the first half of the film, he doesn't talk. He is just a killing machine. He is someone who you are able to project all your fears and judgment onto, until he encounters her, and she's the one who helps to turn him somehow. Now, he is serving multiple life sentences for what he did, and I would say quite rightly so. So it's not one of those happy ending movies where he sees the light and then they get married and skip off into the sunset or something crazy like
film.
that. Very different film. That would be the Hollywood version of the film. But this is real, and it's what happened, and that's why we felt a need to tell it in that way.
So this is your 3rd time producing in as little as 2 years. Do you think that is the future for yourself, producing the roles, producing the projects that you take roles in?
Well, I think as an actor, you can either be part of the solution or be part of the problem. And so for me personally, there's no point complaining about the nature of the roles I get to play, and if I'm unsatisfied with them, if there is anything I can do to change the narrative around that. And so A film like Captive is one I'm inspired by, and that's what you need to produce movies. Making movies is so tough, so you have to pick projects that you just every morning would just want to see that film exist in the world. And so all the films I've produced thus far, and I'm going to do in the future, are ones that address the needs I have as an actor, as a producer, as an audience member, and stop me complaining and keep me doing.
Is that an important aspect to deciding which films you want to develop as a producer, whether or not you can sort of stick with them for the elongated production period?
Absolutely, because you're talking, no matter the size of the film, you're talking either about hundreds of thousands or more likely millions of dollars or pounds that you have to raise. And it's a very, very competitive market. There are lots of people who want to do it and are doing it very well. And so, this film was 4 years of hard work. Selma was 7 years of hard work. Most of the films I do take about 5 to 7 years to come to fruition. So you better be inspired to do them if they're going to get made.
And finally, sort of a congratulations. You actually are the first black man to play James Bond, I believe. You have beaten Idris Elba to the punch.
Oh dear, in an audiobook.
In an audiobook, but it still counts.
No. Okay, well, as long as you think so.
Trigger Mortis, I believe, is the
That's
the
right,
audiobook.
that's right, yes. No, Anthony Horowitz's great new book. I know, that was an honor and a pleasure to do, and I will take the moniker happily, but... yes, I'm having to correct people so often who are saying, "Oh my goodness, you're the new Bond." In an audiobook.
One final one, though. Star Wars.
Star Wars, I do the voice in Star Wars Rebels.
The voice, no, not carrying through to the movies.
I'm hiding behind the camera on these two franchises, aren't I? But yeah, it certainly makes my kids very happy.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.